wanted to make just a short video to go over this lab because so many people have so much trouble with it. I think one of the first things they do is they don't read this initial discussion part carefully. But make sure you read about the metric system here. You'll be making all your measurements using the metric system. Then you'll need to read about measured and exact numbers. I could go over all this, but the Tyler DeWitt videos that I've posted for your use go over it much more smoothly than I would be able to, and he gives lots of great examples. So if you don't understand significant figures, go back and look at those videos. Do the sample sheet that I gave you. Make sure that you're getting the right answers and that you understand it. If you don't understand it, give me a call and I will help you. That's why I'm here. Okay, so when we take measurements, we want to measure between the lines. So here, if we're measuring to this point, to this arrow, we're going to have, the first number will be 4 because of that. And then we need to figure out what each one of these tick marks are. And there are 10 of them. So we've got 4 1/10, 4 2/10, 4 3/10, so forth. This tick mark right here is 4 7/10. This one is 4 8/10. Our number is going to be somewhere between those two. So the answer will be 4.72 milliliters. It'll be in between. Okay. If the measurement lands on the zero, on the line, you put a 0 in that place. So you should always have one more digit than marked. Okay. So give the answer the pre-lab questions. And then when you come down here, you want to give the number of significant digits. So let's look at the first one. The 1 is significant, the 2, the 7, the 8, and the 5. Those are all significant digits because they're non-zero. The 0 is also significant because it's a trailing 0 and there's a decimal. So you would put the numeral 6 here because there's 6 significant figures. When you come down here, you'll need to perform the operation and give the proper number of significant figures in the answer. So when you multiply these two numbers together, you'll get a number on your calculator. But then you need to come back and look at the numbers that went into that. You've got a 3 significant figure number in the 23.4 and a 2 significant figure number in the 14. Your answer can't have any more than 2 significant figures. That is because these are measurements. This isn't math class because your math teacher doesn't want you to round like that. But I do because we have measurements here. Okay? So you want to answer these and then round them. When we look at the ruler, make sure that if it's marked in centimeters, that your answer is in tenths of a centimeter. If it's marked in millimeters, make sure you have that extra unit on there. Now let's look at the volumes. Volumes can be tricky, particularly when you don't have a real graduated cylinder in front of you. This graduated cylinder contains 25.5 milliliters of water. We want to read at the bottom of the meniscus, which is right here, and you can see that meniscus is above the 25 mark. This is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and this longer line is 25. The meniscus is a little bit above that 25, but it's not quite to the 26. So we would say that it has 25.5 milliliters in it. So when you read these, make sure you read to the correct number of digits. These first two are marked in milliliters, so your units that you report should have tenths of milliliters. This graduated cylinder is marked in tenths of milliliters, so you should have hundredths. You should always try and read between the lines. And that's the end of this lab. Just be aware that this is kind of I won't say it's tricky, but it's one that you're going to need to read carefully. Okay? Let me know if you have any problems.